Ethan, a human scientist, exploring a strange, abandoned planet in a distant galaxy. The planet is eerie, with ruins scattered across a glowing, violet desert. As Ethan carefully navigates, strange whispers echo around him. He feels he's being watched. Ethan enters a massive, ancient building filled with alien symbols. Suddenly, a beam of light illuminates a tall, glowing woman with shimmering blue skin and golden eyes. She gasps, stepping forward, her voice trembling. "I have been looking for you for years." Ethan is confused. Who is she? Why has she been searching for him? The alien woman introduces herself as Lyra, claiming that Ethan's arrival was predicted centuries ago. She hints that he holds the key to saving her dying world. Just as Ethan tries to respond, the ruins begin to shake. Shadowy creatures emerge from the dark corridors, ancient guardians left to prevent anyone from leaving. Lyra urges him to follow, leading him through secret passageways filled with puzzles and traps. Welcome to my channel Sci-Fi Love Story. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Ethan stepped carefully onto the surface of the alien planet. Feeling the soft violet sand shift beneath his boots, the sky glowed with an eerie light, and distant mountains shimmered like liquid metal. He adjusted his helmet, scanning the horizon for signs of life or movement. The ruins of a long-forgotten civilization stretched across the desert, like skeletal remains of a once thriving world. Strange glyphs and symbols were carved into stone pillars and walls, some of them glowing faintly, as if responding to his presence. He took a deep breath of recycled air, wondering why he had been drawn to this place alone. The wind carried faint whispers that tickled the edges of his mind, making him pause and glance around. It felt as though invisible eyes were following him, tracking every step. He tightened his grip on his equipment bag and moved forward. The main structure of the ruins loomed ahead, a massive building with towering arches and doors that seemed to beckon him inside. Despite the unease, he felt a pull stronger than fear urging him to enter. He crossed the threshold, and the temperature shifted. As if he had stepped into a different world, the air was warmer and carried a strange scent like metal and flowers mixed together. Shadows danced across the walls, creating shapes that resembled figures moving in silent conversation. He hesitated, taking in the grand hall with its high ceilings and intricate carvings on a raised platform in the center. A beam of light suddenly shot down, illuminating a figure that made him freeze. His heart raced as he saw a woman standing there, her skin shimmering blue and gold, her eyes glowing with a warmth and intensity that made him step back instinctively. She gasped, covering her mouth with both hands, and her voice rang out crystal clear. "I have been looking for you for years." Ethan took a step forward, confusion and disbelief warring inside him. He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. The woman stepped closer, and the light around her seemed to brighten, casting long glowing shadows across the hall. Her hair floated gently, as if moved by a breeze. Only she could feel her gaze locked onto his, and Ethan felt a strange sensation, as if his body was being recognized in a way he did not understand. She lowered her hands, and her voice softened. "I knew you would come. I felt it across time and space. My name is Lyra, and you are the one I have waited for." Ethan swallowed hard, trying to process what she had just said. He wanted to ask questions, but a sudden vibration shook the floor beneath his boots. The ruins trembled and dust fell from the ceiling. Cracks appeared in the walls, and a low growl echoed from the depths of the building. Shadows began to stretch and move, forming shapes that were darker than darkness itself. Ethan's pulse quickened. He reached for his communicator, but the signal was gone. Lyra grabbed his arm, pulling him towards a corridor that seemed to appear from nowhere. "Follow me," she urged, her voice calm yet urgent as the shadows advanced. Ethan, beside her, heart pounding, the corridor twisted and turned in ways that defied logic. He stumbled once, nearly falling, but Lyra's hand caught his, dragging him forward. They emerged into a room filled with strange machinery and glowing symbols that floated in the air as holographic images. She pressed her hands against one of the glowing panels, and images of stars and planets appeared, mapping constellations and galaxies. Ethan stared wide-eyed, trying to comprehend what he was seeing. She turned to him, explaining in a tone that demanded attention. "You are connected to all of this, Ethan. You are the key to restoring what was lost centuries ago. Humans and my people were once allies, but time separated us, and now you must help me reclaim what was stolen." He reached out tentatively, touching one of the floating symbols, and a shock ran through him. Images of battles, ancient cities, and alien worlds flashed before his eyes. He stumbled back, gasping, trying to catch his breath. Lyra moved closer, placing her hands on his shoulders, and Ethan felt a warmth spread through him that made his fears momentarily fade. The shadows outside howled and pounded against the walls. As if aware of their escape plan, Lyra led him through another hidden passage that spiraled downward. The walls were lined with glowing crystals, casting blue and green light across their path. Ethan marveled at the beauty. Even as fear gripped him, they reached a chamber at the heart of the ruins, where a massive floating crystal hovered above a pedestal. It pulsed with energy, sending waves of light across the room. Lyra whispered, "This is what I have been seeking, Ethan. The crystal contains the knowledge of our civilizations, and only you can unlock it." He stepped forward, hesitantly reaching out, and as his fingers brushed the surface, a jolt of energy shot through him, revealing visions of planets long gone, civilizations destroyed, and humans interacting with beings he had never imagined. He stumbled back, overwhelmed by the information. His mind raced, trying to make sense of the connections that now felt personal. The shadows finally broke through the outer barriers, swarming into the chamber, their forms shifting and writhing. Ethan froze, unsure how to react. Lyra grabbed his hand, pulling him to the side, and murmured, "Trust yourself, trust your instincts. Together we can survive." He nodded, swallowing his fear, drawing on a courage he did not know he possessed. The creatures lunged forward, and Ethan acted without thinking, using the knowledge that had just flooded his mind. He grabbed a shard of the crystal energy forming around his hands, and threw it, creating a barrier that pushed the shadows back. Lyra smiled, briefly joining him as they fought side by side. Their combined energy forced the creatures to retreat into the darkness. But Ethan knew this was only temporary. The chamber shook, and cracks ran across the floor. The crystal hovered closer to him, as if sensing his role in the unfolding events. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter, and she whispered, "You are ready now, Ethan. Take it. You are the bridge between our worlds." He reached out again, and this time the crystal responded, fully enveloping him in light. His body tingled as knowledge and understanding flowed through him. He saw maps of galaxies, his own ancestors working with Lyra's people. And the moment when the connection had been lost, the energy began to subside, and Ethan found himself standing beside Lyra, the chamber calm. Once more the shadows had vanished for now, but the ruins still felt alive with the hum of ancient power. He looked at Lyra, and she nodded as if she understood the thoughts racing through his mind. "We must leave this place soon," she said. "The secrets here are powerful, and others will come seeking them." Ethan followed her as they moved through winding tunnels, emerging on the surface. The desert had shifted, the wind howling around them, carrying whispers of the past. The sky as brighter now, and the mountains glowed with an inner light. Lyra turned to him, explaining the next steps. "We must journey to the heart of the planet to restore its energy and reconnect our worlds." Ethan nodded, determination building within him. He had come seeking answers, and now he carried the weight of destiny with him. The shadows might return and challenges awaited, but he no longer felt alone. Lyra walked beside him, her presence steady and reassuring, and for the first time he realized that the universe was bigger and more intricate than he had ever imagined. Every step they took together through the alien sands felt like a step towards a future that had been written long before either of them were born. As the ruins faded behind them, Ethan looked to the glowing horizon, wondering what trials awaited, what secrets would be revealed, and whether he could truly fulfill the role Lyra believed he was destined for. The wind carried her voice softly across the desert, urging him onward, and Ethan, thrill of anticipation mixed with fear. He was no longer just a man lost on an alien world. He was part of a story that spanned galaxies and centuries, a story that had finally found its missing piece. The journey ahead would test his courage, his mind, and his heart. But with Lyra by his side, he felt the first stirrings of hope and purpose. The desert stretched endlessly before them, glowing under twin suns, and Ethan knew that every moment from this point forward would shape the fate of two civilizations intertwined by destiny and forgotten history. As they walked side by side, the shadows of the past seemed to whisper less, and the path ahead, though uncertain, shimmered with possibility. He breathed deeply, feeling the alien air filling him with a strange vitality. The crystal's energy still thrummed faintly in his veins, connecting him to something larger than himself. And Ethan realized that the search for answers had only just begun. Every step carried meaning, and every glance exchanged with Lyra hinted at the secrets yet to unfold. The alien world stretched endlessly around them, alive with unseen life and forgotten knowledge. Their footsteps kicked up sand that sparkled faintly in the light. As if the planet itself recognized their presence, Ethan felt a connection to the land, to the ruins, and to Lyra that transcended reason. As night approached, the sky shifted into a deep purple, with streaks of glowing stars appearing across the heavens. Lyra paused, lifting her gaze to the constellations, pointing out familiar patterns and explaining how their people had once navigated by them. Ethan listened, mesmerized, realizing that the galaxy held more mysteries than he could ever imagine. He felt a stirring of excitement, mixed with apprehension for the dangers ahead. The ruins behind them were silent now, but he knew they were only the beginning of a journey that would take him across worlds and time. His heart pounded with anticipation as he followed Lyra into the unknown, ready to face whatever awaited, and knowing that This first encounter had changed him forever. Ethan and Lyra moved swiftly across the glowing desert, the twin suns dipping lower on the horizon, painting the sky in hues of violet and gold. The air was thick with anticipation, and a strange hum vibrated through the sand beneath their feet. As they traveled, Ethan could feel the energy from the crystal still coursing through his veins, filling him with a clarity and strength. He had never known. He glanced at Lyra, who walked beside him, her golden eyes reflecting the fading light, and a sense of purpose that made him feel both comforted and exhilarated. The journey was silent for a time, each lost in thoughts of what lay ahead. The ruins behind them seemed distant yet alive. As if watching their progress with ancient eyes, Lyra broke the silence, speaking softly yet with authority. "We must reach the heart of the planet. Ethan, the energy there will unlock the full potential of the crystal and reveal the truth about our intertwined histories." He nodded, absorbing her words, realizing that the path ahead was more than a physical journey. It was a test of courage and understanding. The landscape shifted as they moved, the violet sands giving way to jagged cliffs and deep chasms that glowed faintly with an inner light. They navigated narrow ledges and winding paths. Ethan's pulse quickened with each step, as he realized the planet itself was alive, responding to their presence. Strange creatures flitted in and out of shadows, their eyes reflecting curiosity and caution, but never approaching directly. Lyra guided him with a steady hand, pointing out symbols carved into rocks that acted as markers, leading them forward. The farther they went, the more vivid Ethan's visions became. Flashes of ancient cities, alien beings and humans working together appeared in his mind. He saw battles long past and alliances forged across stars, and realized that his connection to this world and Lyra was far deeper than he had imagined. He wondered how his ancestors had influenced this civilization, and why destiny had led him to this moment. As night fell, the desert transformed, the twin suns disappearing beneath jagged horizons, leaving a sky ablaze with stars and nebulae that painted the heavens in surreal colors. Ethan felt a thrill mixed with unease. He could sense the planet's energy shifting, reacting to their presence. Lyra paused, lifting her gaze and whispering, "We are close, Ethan. Can you feel it?" The crystal hummed stronger than ever. He nodded, feeling the pulse within him, synchronizing with the rhythm of the planet. Beneath their feet, the path ahead narrowed. Canyon walls glowing with alien runes that seemed to tell stories of forgotten times. The air was charged with energy, and Ethan felt a strange warmth radiating from the stone. The canyon opened into a vast chamber at the planet's core. The ground shimmered with a liquid light, and massive crystals hovered above, casting prismatic reflections across the cavern. Lyra moved to the center, her hands extended, as if calling out to the energy around her. Ethan followed hesitantly, feeling the power resonating through him. Stronger than he had ever experienced, he realized that the crystal he carried was only a fragment of a greater whole, the chamber itself pulsating with life and knowledge. As they approached the central crystal network, Ethan felt visions flood his mind, scenes of humans and Lyras, people sharing knowledge, building civilizations. And then a sudden rupture, a betrayal that scattered them across the stars. He gasped, struggling to maintain focus. Lyra placed her hand on his shoulder, grounding him. "You are the bridge." "Ethan," she said, the light of her eyes merging with the crystal's glow, "you must restore the connection or everything will remain lost." He stepped forward, taking the crystal and placing it in the center of the network. Energy surged through him, images of galaxies collapsing and reforming danced before his eyes. He felt the bond between humans and aliens reigniting. He heard whispers of gratitude and hope mingled with warnings of danger. The shadow creatures that had pursued them returned, more numerous and ferocious, their forms shifting and writhing with hunger and malice. Ethan felt a surge of fear, but Lyra's presence steadied him. She extended her hands, and light erupted, forming barriers that repelled the shadows. But they kept coming. Ethan realized he had to act quickly. He focused on the crystal, channeling the knowledge flowing through him, shaping it into a force that pushed the creatures back. They screeched and twisted, dissolving into shadows that evaporated under the combined energy. The chamber shook violently, crystals vibrating and emitting beams of pure light. Ethan struggled to maintain control. Lyra guided him, their energies intertwining, forming a shield that kept the chamber stable. The central crystal expanded, its light filling every corner, revealing hidden passages, forgotten technology, and messages from ancient civilizations. Ethan felt tears prick his eyes, overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of history and responsibility. He understood that humans were not merely observers but active participants in shaping the fate of galaxies. Lyra turned to him, her expression a mixture of relief and pride. "We have done it, Ethan, the connection is restored." "But this is only the beginning," he nodded, feeling a sense of purpose. He had never known the shadows may return and other challenges awaited. But together they were stronger than any force in the universe. The chamber's light subsided, leaving A soft glow that illuminated their faces. Ethan looked around, taking in the immense beauty of the core. The crystals reflected their forms, infinitely a reminder of the infinite possibilities now within their grasp. They emerged from the core, the air fresh and vibrant with energy. The desert around them seemed transformed alive with color and movement. Creatures of all shapes and sizes emerging cautiously. To observe the humans and aliens walking side by side, Ethan felt a deep sense of belonging, as if he had finally found his place in the universe. Lyra smiled at him, her hand brushing his in a silent promise of future adventures. They continued their journey through the desert, the night sky filled with stars and distant galaxies. Ethan's mind raced with the knowledge he had gained, and the possibilities that lay ahead. He understood now that his destiny was intertwined with Lyra's, and that together they could face any challenge. The universe presented. The ruins faded behind them, replaced by landscapes of unimaginable beauty and danger, each step revealing new wonders and tests of courage. Ethan felt exhilaration coursing through him, a mixture of fear and anticipation. He knew that every moment now carried weight, every decision shaping the future not just for him, but for entire civilizations. They approached a cliff overlooking a vast valley, the ground shimmering with energy and alien flora. Lyra turned to him, whispering, "This valley marks the beginning of our next journey. Here we will find allies and enemies, and the true test of human ingenuity." Ethan nodded, taking in the expanse before them, realizing that the adventure was far from over. The twin suns would rise soon, casting golden light across the valley, revealing paths unknown and secrets waiting to be uncovered. He felt a thrill of anticipation, imagining the possibilities of what lay ahead for him. Lyra and the worlds they were destined to influence. They descended into the valley, the air alive with the hum of energy and distant sounds of life, both alien and familiar. Ethan felt the pulse of the planet sinking with his own heart, as if acknowledging him as a part of its destiny. The landscape shifted around them, vast forests, glowing with bioluminescent plants, and rivers that shimmered with liquid light flowed beside their path. Creatures of all shapes observed them from a distance, their curiosity evident, yet respectful. Ethan marveled at the harmony of life here, and realized that his presence was changing the world as much as it was changing him. Lyra led him to a plateau overlooking the heart of the valley. She explained that they would need to establish connections with the surviving alien clans and work together to restore balance. Ethan listened intently, understanding the enormity of the task, yet feeling a surge of confidence. He was no longer just a human lost on a distant world. He was a bridge between species, a bearer of knowledge and hope, and a participant in a story that spanned centuries. The night deepened, stars glittering above as they set camp. For the first time since leaving the ruins, Ethan gazed at the sky, feeling the pulse of the crystal within him, and the quiet strength of Lyra beside him. He felt connected to everything around him, the planet, the life it harbored, and the legacy he now carried as sleep threatened to overtake him. He realized that tomorrow would bring new challenges, discoveries, and perhaps dangers, yet he welcomed them all with open arms. The journey ahead would test him mentally, physically, and emotionally. But for the first time, he felt ready. The universe had revealed its secrets, and he had grasped his place within it. He knew that together with Lyra they could face whatever came next. The first light of dawn began to spread across the valley, painting the world in hues of gold and lavender. Ethan stood beside Lyra, breathing in the fresh air, feeling alive and purposeful. The adventure had only just begun, but he felt a surge of determination. He would explore the secrets of the planet, uncover lost knowledge, and ensure that the connection between humans and Lyra's people endured. The crystal's energy hummed softly in his veins, a constant reminder of the power and responsibility he carried. He turned to Lyra, and she smiled at him, her eyes reflecting hope and courage. Together, they descended further into the valley, each step bringing new experiences, new lessons, and new possibilities. Ethan understood now that destiny was not something that happened to a person. It was something they shaped with each choice, each action, and each connection he had made. He felt the weight of that knowledge, but also the thrill of potential. The alien world stretched endlessly before them, filled with light, shadow, life, and mystery. Every breath Ethan took was a promise to himself and to Lyra to face the future boldly, and to uncover the truths that had been lost across centuries. They walked side by side into the unknown, ready to confront the challenges ahead and embrace the adventure that was theirs alone.